A crucial 72-hour window is closing in Morocco, where hopes of finding any more survivors are fading. Nearly 3 full days after the country's worst earthquake in more than a century. Most of the nearly 2,700 people who were killed in the quake were in the Al Haouz province just outside of Marrakesh. But the death toll is all but certain to rise. An untold number of people are still unaccounted for. And many remote mountain villages that were hardest hit remain inaccessible, some of them blocked by landslides. The scale and scope of the devastation is still coming into focus, partly in those isolated regions where responders are struggling to reach victims. And where many now destitute families face another night of sleeping outside. One grieving father who lost his 8-year-old son in the quake described the heartbreaking situation.
At night, there was no electricity. We couldn't see at all, and stones were falling on us in the dark. I hurried, and luckily there was a gate open. I helped my wife, who was injured, get out, along with 2 other kids. My son was stuck until the next morning. When his uncles came from Casablanca, they managed to get him out.
Well, time now for the exchange and my conversation with Dr. Hossam ElSharkawi. He is the Regional Director of Middle East and North Africa for the IFRC and joins us now from Beirut, Lebanon. Thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, this is a disaster on a massive, massive scale, hundreds of thousands of people in need right now. Give us a sense of what the priorities are.
Thank you. It is a tragedy unfolding, and the world is mobilizing. There's a lot of solidarity locally and internationally, and that is reassuring. We are dealing simultaneously on multiple fronts. Search and rescue are the top priority now. Extricating people from under the rubble, getting the teams out there, and giving those people who are pulled out the emergency medical assistance and interventions that they need. In parallel, we're working with the survivors. They need blankets and some shelter and food and water as well, and some medicines. Those are critical functions that are happening now. Of course, the road clearances are taking place. The picture is becoming a bit clearer. The first 2 days, as always in these types of massive events, are foggy. Until you have clarity and identify the priorities, as we are now, hour by hour, then we're able to target most in need. This will last weeks. The window really we're looking for search and rescue is about a week. After that, the hopes dwindle, and we're really focusing on the survivors and making sure that they also are not affected by the aftershocks, the electrocutions that can happen, the road traffic accidents. People are lighting fires to warm up at night in these mountains, injuries from burns and so on. So you can see how these things are unfolding. We have a lot of experience as Red Cross, Red Crescent societies doing this all over the world. It's not our first earthquake.
Yeah.
And we have also focused on supporting the Moroccan Red Crescent mobilized locally. Critically, locals are the true first responders, and the more we enable them to do a better job, the better the response will be.
And Doctor, we have seen images of the field hospitals set up to help those injured. We've also seen images of workers digging with their bare hands to try and reach survivors. Talk to us about how all these international countries and international aid agencies are working together. Who is coordinating the efforts?
The main agency responsible for coordination, of course, is the local authorities, is the civil defense groups who are now coordinating the search and rescue teams. The medical are by the Ministry of Health, the relief and so on, Ministry of Interior and others, and the Moroccan Red Crescent. It is not unexpected to have poor coordination on those first 2 or 3 days. I've seen this all over the world. The images I see now in Morocco, and our teams on the ground are confirming this, of course, is what I saw in the big Nepal earthquake in 2015. Mountainous region, villages disappeared off the face of the earth, roads cut off. We were helicopter lifting everything to those communities. And I think now the helicopter assistance will probably kick in delivering. The first focus of helicopter assistance was on taking those injured and severely injured out. Now it's going to shift to delivering the food, the water, the tents, and the medical teams. There aren't enough of them. The systems are overwhelmed, and this is now the role of the international surge assistance that is already coming in, including the Red Crescent, Red Cross Federation, which we are managing on the ground now.
And just give us a sense of the challenges you're facing trying to get to some of those remote communities and villages in the Atlas Mountains.
It's heartbreaking, as your report just said. People digging with bare hands, people gathering to clear the rubble off the roads, boulders the size of cars, they're trying to move them by hand. It's heartbreaking, but people are helping each other. They are gathering, they're creating their own makeshift shelters until we can get there with the proper tents and blankets and the tarpaulins that are needed. So there is that community solidarity, but of course that just can carry you only so far. And this is why we are in a race against the clock. We feel the international teams have a lot of capacities. There are flights coming in now from all over the world, and dispatching that as quickly as possible is, of course, the top priority. So the logistics will be here a critical component, and this is what we are doing with the authorities. And a key component of this, of course, is psychological support. The trauma faced by the people can last a lifetime. And we've seen that in many disasters across the world. So there is a psychosocial component by treating survivors not as passive victims, but as active survivors, actually engaged in their own recovery, quick recovery, helping each other out. That really empowers people. So this is also part of the philosophical approach of dealing with this. And all of this matters. And we are looking at a 2-year program. We're not looking now at a few weeks or a few months. This is massive.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's going to take a lot of work to help those that have survived and rebuild those villages. Just a quick question, was there much damage in the historic city of Marrakesh?
There was some damage, and not a lot in terms of losses. Luckily, it was spared. Much of the damage is outside. Marrakesh is the gateway to the beautiful Atlas Mountains, and it's now the tragedy of the Atlas Mountains, but they will recover. People's dignity matters in these responses too. So we're treating this critically, is that we don't want people to be begging for assistance. We are proactively trying to reach them and listen to them and dispatch the assistance as quickly as possible.
We appreciate the work that you and your team are doing on the ground. Dr. Hossam ElSharkawi, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And for more information about how you can help victims of the Morocco earthquake, you can go to cnn.com/impact.